Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle JCRB Krause.
Yes, welcome to the Tired Cast, where we're both bumbled. Yes, it's very sleepy, or I don't know. We're just tired, you know. We're just tired of it all, aren't we, Ian? Just tired of everything.
Yeah. Well, in my case in particular, I had to miss out on BumbleKast gaming for personal reasons, but I said I'd make it up during the week. And then Monday, every single client got back to me at once saying, hey, we need this week. So I did a lot of writing. Yeah. I'm still not done with the writing, but the deadlines have been met so far. So here we are. It's a Saturday. We survived. We're just going to chill out with some Q&A.
Yes. It is a Saturday on the day we're recording this, but it's a Monday on the day that the people will be hearing this. Time.
Try to make the bright spot in your Monday.
Yes. Time is weird.
Time is fluid.
Sure. Along with some other things.
Now, if you want your question answered here on the BumbleKast, email us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com, tweet to us at BumbleKast, comment anywhere on any of the YouTube videos. If you're a patron, post to us, message us, whatever, anywhere on the Patreon page, or preferably in the Discord in the Q&A channel. If you want your question answered sooner rather than later, become a $5 patron over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, or send us 2 coffees, that's $6, via ko-fi.com/BumbleKast. Please be sure to include your name and your question. Make sure it's the full $6, because otherwise we're going to have to pass, or we have no idea what you want. So please help us help you. Now then, if you're going to ask us any old question, make sure that you've checked the FAQs over at bumbleking.com. Check the master list of questions also at bumbleking.com/BumbleKast. That is a searchable database of every question ever asked on the show. If it's been asked recently if it's been answered recently, we're not going to answer it again because we just did that. If it's going to go into details of what I had planned for the old Archie Sonic series, we're going to pass on it until Lost Hedgehog Tales comes out. And again, if it's been covered in any other form recently, we're just not going to retread old ground.
Indeed. Well, are we ready?
Ready as we ever will be.
Alrighty, let's jump into the priority Q&A. We got a bit of a long one here from PC the Unicorn, so I'm gonna bear with
context.
Yeah, bear with me as we go through it. So, alrighty, what went into writing Sonic's character for the IDW series? There have been many different takes on Sonic's character these past 30 years through different mediums, with some portrayals being regarded with high praise, while others are disliked with a burning passion. IDW Sonic has some of the classic aspects of the character, such as his love for adventure and snarky attitude, but also has traits you don't see often nowadays, such as him being much humbler and willing to see the good in people, no matter how evil they may be. I found the addition of that one particularly interesting, since while on one hand, Sonic seeing the good in people does work for his character in the sense, thinking that Eggman can be redeemed was a bit jarring. This isn't in regard to Mr. Tinker. Sonic's line of thinking for that makes sense, but rather to issue 33, in which Eggman runs away. Sonic is more sad than mad at Eggman for going back to his evil ways, despite the fact that Eggman almost caused the end of the world for the umpteenth time. I get it in a sense. Sonic saw that Eggman had the potential to become good when he became Mr. Tinker, but at the same time, it does feel a bit strange that Sonic would still think Eggman could see the error of his ways. I guess in IDW, with how horrific the Zombot Apocalypse was, I was expecting a Sonic moment similar to issue 230 of Archie Sonic, in which after Eggman revealed his monstrous plan on robotizing the entire planet despite knowing what would happen, Sonic gets legit angry with him, saying, "I never should have shown you a shred of mercy, you sick," since that was another version of Sonic whose moment of showing mercy to Eggman royally bit him in the behind, with no doubt greatly regretting that choice considering what happened to Sally soon after.
There's been a few folks who have contacted me about this, and especially in light of recent events, given how some groups have been given an inch and they've walked all over the collective us. They find Sonic's compassion a little tone deaf, and I completely get that. Part of it is trying to rationalize some of the directions I've gotten. One of the things I got from Sega is that Sonic and his friends do not actively seek out Eggman to stop him. They do not act preemptively. They only act reactively. And given the history of the series, I find that frustrating, I guess is a word to use. Not that Sonic and his friends need to become militant and, proactive soldiers. I think that loses the feel of the franchise. But the fact that they wouldn't, at least keep an eye on things is nettlesome. So there's degrees to which we can address that, but one of them is to rationalize why Sonic, who has the power to end things very quickly, doesn't just do. And I don't mean that in a Shadow the Hedgehog sense, although that's also a conundrum. If Shadow is comparable, if not superior to Sonic in terms of power, why doesn't he just do? But you take into context the good that Eggman has done, begrudgingly, admittedly, here and there throughout this franchise, and seeing the potential within Tinker, that is my attempt to rationalize why Sonic just doesn't take care of business. Just bring Eggman down, lock him in a cage, call it a day. Part of it too is the moment in 33 isn't so much meant to be sad as frustrated with the situation. Sonic knows it wouldn't take too much for Eggman to just get his stuff in order, and he just chooses not to, and that's very frustrating for him, and kind of allegorical to other events. Is that it wouldn't be too hard for things to be better if people would just get their heads out of the collective rectums and shift their point of view ever so slightly. So it's also kind of a following the trend of shonen heroes. We are leaving the era of your hyper egotistical, I will break myself just to prove that I can surpass any threshold type of character. And we're getting more compassionate, more insightful, more vulnerable heroes. And I like that. And not that Sonic is ever going to be quite that level. Steering him to be, he's already been kind of a little kinder and gentler. He kind of colors Unleashed era. That's kind of where we're going now, where the snark is a little less abrasive and a little more cheeky.
Alrighty. Next up, we got one from Johnny B. Good. One of my favorite pre-reboot villains was Jun Kun, the Iron King. He was mostly a physical foe who had some goof fights, got some fun lines in, and didn't overstay his welcome. He was like the Juggernaut, complete with outside-the-box solutions being needed to slow or stop him because he'd keep getting up again. What was the secret, if any, to his incredible strength and toughness? Did you throw around an origin for this mad cow's powers like you did with the Iron Queen and her Magitech? Or did you just not worry about it? I'm curious.
This was part of the long con. Like, if we ever got to go back to the material, what I wanted to do was reveal that there were actually 12 cons in the program. Ken was the first successful one. And Julian, who just couldn't stay away, continued to mess with various people. And it was going to be themed around the Chinese zodiac and the idea that Jun Kun was the Ox Khan. You have to be a little fast and loose with Ken's origin story to make that work, but I think the fandom would have forgiven it for the sake of new characters with neat powers. We didn't get terribly far with the concept. There were a few ideas of additional cons. The idea being that Ken is searching for the vaults to wake his fellow cons and help them manage their new power without going through the same troubles he did, while Jun Kun and Iron Queen or whatever villainous force would be looking for the cons to basically use them as soldiers or living weapons. There weren't really a lot of concept designs done. There wasn't a lot of plotting done. That's just kind of on my bucket list of things I wanted to do post Iron Dominion.
So, sounds like the con police were on their way there. Next up, we have one from Off. Tickle and Whisper have their cake and strawberries, and Jewel loves her some wings. But what is Starline's favorite consumable item? And while we're on the subject of food, do Zeti eat, or do they get their nutrients through photosynthesis or some other means?
Dr. Starline is a individual of a refined palate. He would at least begin supping on a delicious vichyssoise, perhaps as some kind of well-done prime meal, side of fava beans with a nice Chianti, and something delectable and delicate for dessert. He's not particularly picky, just something that's light on the palate and refreshing. As for the Zeti, Zaman excluded, they seem to eat stuff. There's a throwaway line Xena says during the latter stages about how she'll let Zaman devour Sonic because she's on a diet. Now, whether you want to take that as, she's just as viciously carnivorous as Zaman and, is playing it off, or if it's just a joke line, I leave it up to you. But they're supposed to be deadly. They're supposed to be vicious, horrible monsters. I would assume they eat things, preferably while still alive and screaming.
That's their favorite. Makes enough sense.
I mean, I just imagine Zavok grabbing a flicky out of the air and just boom, popping it.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how he chews with his lower jaw being part of his chest, but whatever.
Who says he chews? Just swallow it whole, man. He's a freaking demon creature. He can do whatever he wants.
Fair enough.
Next up, Blue Mickey Mouse has a question. If he could freely write different Sonic properties together, how would the universes be recognized in name/identity by the others? I know any Sonic continuity is already very complicated in what a universe is. Practically need some new words as placeholders. But how does, say, post-reboot Archie address STC Sonic? Sonic the Comic Sonic?
That is a good question. I mean, I imagine that post-reboot Archie Sonic would kind of have fun with it. Maybe either come up with a nickname or refer to Sonic as just Sonic and just playing with the fact of, oh, Sonic, have you met Sonic? Sonic, this is Sonic. Or maybe you've already met. Whereas STC Sonic would probably look at Archie Sonic and call him a tosser and move on and do his own thing. So That is a very complicated question that would require a lot of thought and planning out. And I'm kind of glad that's probably not on the table right now because, oh man, that's a noodle baker. But I don't know. You might have to just work around it in universe and not address it, Man, scripting it would be a nightmare. Everything would have to be annotated. Blah.
It could be the thinking like the cosmic interstate, but all the alternate realities are all the different takes of Sonic rather than, just cheap Sonic style pop culture knockoffs. Yeah,
but at least with the pop culture knockoffs, you have something visually distinct.
Right, yeah.
You put, Adventures of Sad AM and Underground next to each other, and they're basically the same model.
I'd put those all in, Sonic, Underground, and Sad AM in the same universe. Adventures of is kind of like adjacent. It's all, they're all kind of related.
I mean, Sonic the Comet has a distinct enough style, but still, it would be
right
a little harder to visually. You'd have to have the right art team. The art team
Yeah.
would be the absolute fundamental.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. And let's see. Just trying to think. Boom Sonic is probably the most distinct.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Anyway, next up, our question from our good buddy Scruffymatt. I'd like to have a little chat about something we mostly haven't seen in a main series Sonic title for a while, and that's multiplayer mode. I'm not talking about in things like the racing games or the Olympics titles, but rather the main canonical games. I think the best known ones were Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but there have also been less well-known multiplayer modes in other games, such as Sonic 06 and Sonic Colors, as well as Sonic Mania. Which multiplayer modes from previous Sonic games have been your favorites, and how would you like to see the multiplayer brought back in a future Sonic title, if at all?
If we get a Mania 2, I would like to see something more robust than just Sonic and Tails. What I loved about Sonic Advance 3 so much was the ability to mix and match the characters and get different play styles out of each combo. I wasn't a fan of them being some more being more viable than others. I feel like that could have been balanced better. But one of my favorite memories growing up was playing Sonic 2 with my brother, and playing as Sonic and Tails.
Right.
I have no idea how you would properly balance that with all the potential combos, but I don't know, that was just a thrill to play, and I would like to see that come back in a more robust fashion. For the 3D entries, I don't know, you got to settle on an actual play style first. We're talking heroes. That'd be kind of interesting. 3-player. Somebody plays each character. That'd be a mess real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, the Adventure 2 set worked because you had at least head-to-head competition with very distinct play styles. Just, I don't know, settle on what is 3D Sonic, and then I think we can talk about multiplayer a bit better.
Oh man, the fact that we're here 21 years later and they still don't know what is a 3D Sonic game. It's like, it's
Unleashed Colors Generations. To me, that was it.
Right.
That was the magic way to do it. But
yeah, they had a solid thing going there, a good foundation they could have really built on, and then they're like, nah. And then they tried. Then they kind of went around with Sonic Forces, and we're like, maybe it'll work, but it's kind of like a half measure. Definitely not. Definitely not the same thing.
I appreciate not being beholden to the exact same style over and over again to want to investigate other avenues, so that it doesn't become stale. But you look at the Legend of Zelda series, you look at the Kirby series, you look at Mario, and they really haven't changed a lot since they got their formula down. And while they have some detractors because of that, you also know what kind of experience you're going to get, and they're always super polished and fun. Right. So I say go back to the old Hedgehog engine model, and instead of reinventing the wheel, build upon a foundation.
Correct.
Get Sonic done right, and then add in the other characters, or add in new features or something. We don't need to go back to square one every freaking game. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very frustrating. As for what multiplayer modes I like, the thing is that as an only child, I never really spent a lot of time with multiplayer modes in Sonic games. So it's tough to say what I would like to have in a future title, just because I don't end up playing multiplayer stuff all that often. But I do think it would be fun to have a side-scrolling Sonic that has the ability to keep both players on screen at the same time, kind of like the if you think about the new Super Mario Brothers games, the multiplayer modes in that. So being able to actually play together without one outrunning the other would be kind of nice. It's tough because Sonic is a very different game from Mario, so kind of that would lose a lot of the momentum, I think. But it might be possible to balance it out.
I mean, in the Mario games, if you fall behind, you come back in a bubble, right?
Right.
And then you can pop out and rejoin the play.
Yeah.
Maybe put a spin on the Chaotix energy band thing. Don't make that part of the core gameplay, but have it so that if somebody falls behind, instead of explaining why they're just flying in from the foreground out of nowhere, they get slung back, and then you press a button and you go back to running around.
Yeah. Something like that. Not a bad idea. And as far as 3D Sonic, yeah, I agree. They just should probably figure out what 3D Sonic is before they try and jam a multiplayer mode into it. But it'll probably end up being a racing mode or something, which is fine. It's just, Maybe it's co-op. Maybe it's split screen co-op. You're both in the level, but you have different objectives or something. I don't know. That might be neat. All right, next question is from Diane W. How do you feel about Netflix's Fate the Winx Saga? Personally, it's going to be a train wreck, and that I recommend watching Winx Club instead, as it is much better with its diverse cast and quality writing.
I never watched Winx Club, so I don't really have a horse in that race.
Me neither. I don't even know exactly what Winx Club is.
I think it's kind of a Western take on the magical girl thing. I think it's got magical fairies.
Okay.
I've only fringe heard that it was surprisingly good for the time, that it had, good characters and plot. I don't know myself. I never got into it.
I'm looking it up now, and it's not really my thing.
And I've heard that the Netflix series is going to be a grim and gritty live action reboot. So
neat. Might as well be. Everything.
I mean, when you sell it like that, there is a grain of salt to be had. But I don't know. See how it stands on its own 2 feet, or flutters with its own 2 wings. But if I can understand why fans of the series might be just a little concerned.
Apparently, it was an Italian comic first, and then it became a cartoon.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I have no idea, honestly. Yeah. I don't even know where it would have been on at that time. Wait, what station
it was
or anything?
Part of Fox Kids.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
I could be very wrong.
I wasn't. Well, Fox Kids didn't exist in 2004, I don't think.
Well,
which would have been Kids WB. It would have been like Kids WB or whatever. Yeah. Andrew D is up next. If you were to each design your own Pokemon, what would it be, and what would its typing be? Go into all the detail you can. Have fun.
Now, you're not a big fan of Pokemon, so I don't know if this is within your wheelhouse.
No, I'm not 100% sure. I don't even know exactly all the types. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is there like a... I don't know.
Come now, Kyle. There's over 700 of them with 18 individual typings, never mind combinations.
Oh, sure. The
sky's the limit.
I know. What kind of Pokemon would you design, Ian?
Oh, I have so many to choose from. Had a concept one called Gorgrilla. It's a big fiery gorilla. Just because of the pun name.
Yeah.
Pure Fire, maybe? I don't know.
I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know all the Pokemon in general.
Not firefighting. We had enough of those. Had an idea for a deer called Reindeer. That's RAIN.
Yeah. Nice
that
fun.
would have this big old set of antlers that was like a fountain or sprinkler. had an idea for a peacock Pokemon that was a grass type, so that its big, display tail was all different fern leaves. And then had an idea for a fire electric bird that was themed around fireworks. Complete glass cannon, but basically each evolutionary form it's just covered in more explosive, vaguely feathered-like shapes. Or maybe go something like an ostrich or an emu, so the body is just one giant crackling fireball.
Isn't there a Pokemon that's literally just a bag of trash?
Yes, his name is Trubbish.
Okay, and then there's another one that's literally just keys, like a set of keys. Someone's keys, yeah. Okay. Pokemon is weird.
Also, give me my Velociraptor fossil Pokemon, please. Stone Steel, speed stat through the frickin' roof.
Yes. Yeah. It's what? What is this game? What is this? What is this franchise? A franchise where you can literally stuff a bag of trash into a ball and carry it around and have it fight other things that have also been stuffed into balls. It's so weird. It's so weird. I don't get it, Ian. I'm just gonna stick with the fast running blue hedgehog who fights an evil scientist dictator guy. That makes a whole heck of a lot more sense to me.
I don't know. Not to go all Gen 1 on this topic, but I kind of preferred it when they were more animals. And the trend lately seems to be more abstract-y stuff and vaguely more mascot-y type things, which isn't necessarily wrong or bad. Just, I don't know. I'll take the Ursaring over Poltegeist, even though its name is delightful. It's a ghost teacup, by the way. Poltegeist.
Yes. Oh no.
No, teapot. Excuse me. It's a teapot.
We have somebody in the chat right now who says, "Time to draw Sonic as a Pokemon." Then, oh boy. No,
that ground has already been tread.
Oh, very much so. Very much
Sonic
so.
rendered as the shaman.
That's a very, very there's a long and storied history of that. Yeah. Digatmev Wow has a question. So obviously you've talked multiple times at this point about how the Iron Dominion saga featuring MonkeyCon was a joke idea to make your other pitches seem better that Pellerito ended up choosing anyway. Now, back in the old Mike Gallagher off-panels, it was a running gag that Pellerito had an obsession with monkeys and apes. I wonder...
Yeah, maybe Mike enjoyed his simians and was of the belief that if you threw a monkey into the series, it would gain readers, and apparently he had the numbers to back that up. Anytime there was a Silver Age book where Superman fights a gorilla or Superman becomes a gorilla, people read it more. That's the entire reason why we had a monkey in New Crusaders. He's like, monkeys sell the book. We're putting an alien monkey in there. And I'm like, why? We have this big ensemble cast. We're relaunching the series. Okay, fine. But I'm going to name it Uruk Akak, and you can't stop me.
Did it work?
Are you still reading New Crusaders?
No. Now I'm sad.
Me too, because I actually came to love Dusty as a character.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame. Yeah, I mean, how do you quantify that? Like, how do you compare? Yes, the monkey will sell the books. Put the monkey in. It's like, dude, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that was a thing in, like, you see the Silver Age. And, geez, I don't know. I never really, like, thought about that at all. I know it's a massive thing that happened. Like, there were a lot of monkeys, but I don't know. Maybe it was just because of I don't know. What was it?
Like, a few years ago, DC did JLA, Justice League Apes. Everybody became a monkey. I want to know what the numbers were on that.
Yeah, but how
Marvel responded by making everybody a monkey. And people were like, why? That's a DC gag. Why are you doing it? Spider Monkey is the only joke you actually have for this. This is clearly trying to divide the readership, and I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is where characters like Gorilla Grodd and stuff come from. It's like, fine.
But there's like, I'm inclined to believe him because they were all, I remember a story where they were looking at numbers on the digests, specifically Jughead books, and trying to find a trend as to why certain issues were outselling others by a noticeable margin. And they came to the realization that if the book had a cover with Jughead about to eat something or in the process of eating something, it sold more.
Sure.
So now everything that's Jughead related has him on the cover usually eating something because people are more inclined to buy a book if Jughead is eating something. And I don't understand, but I can't argue with the numbers. So, okay. Jughead eats stuff on covers. Monkeys sell books. There you go.
Well, yeah. That's like just in general having Sonic on a cover of a comic sells it. So, you know, there were a lot of issues of Sonic Universe where you kind of just stuffed Sonic onto the cover.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely certain things the presence of gets more attention. So, and I mean, Jughead eating something, you expect that to happen. It kind of makes sense if you're looking for Jughead comics and you want a Jughead comic, you want the one where he's eating something.
I guess
it's what he does. It's his thing.
If I were looking to buy a Jughead comic, I would assume there's consumption within it. I don't necessarily need to see it on the cover. It's Jughead. I know it will happen. If I see a Sonic book, I'm going to assume Sonic is in the book. I don't necessarily need to see him on the cover. I don't know. Maybe I've been in this business too long, Kyle.
Maybe. I don't really buy comics based on the covers myself, so I don't know. I'm not that kind of shopper, but yeah, maybe some people still are. We know that there's a lot of market research that goes into the crap, so I don't know. Maybe they know something. We don't. Anyway, Madeline M has a question. Ian, is how Sonic and Tails first met in the IDW continuity the same as mainline? Amy mentioned in issue 10 how Tails was raised by Sonic. Did Sonic find Tails going hungry as a baby or toddler? Or did Tails fix up Sonic's plane? Can you describe the story of Sonic raising Tails?
Yeah, it's the same as the game continuity. I'm not saying that Tails was raised from birth. I mean that Sonic was the most influential person in Tails' life and got him to where he is today. I don't know, when Amy said that line, she's not being a literal, he raised you off of a bottle. It's, you were here and then Sonic came into your life and brought you to this point.
Now I'm thinking of that line from Street Fighter, the movie. Or for you, the day you met Sonic was the most important day of your life. But for Sonic, it was Tuesday. Next up, and our final priority question comes from Scurvy Pirate Hog. One thing I've seen going around at times that annoys me a little is when people claim that Eggman/Robotnik is a complete idiot and not a real threat. I mean, in IDW Enforces, he did manage to take over the world. He's created huge facilities, robot armies, deadly inventions, and has shown multiple times that he actually is a genius and has had really evil moments. I personally think that the main thing about the character is that his main weaknesses are his own overconfidence in his plans and his own obsession with Sonic. But what do you think? How would you sort of explain Eggman?
I think recent events should make it clear that you don't have to be smart to be a threat. You can be effective while being an absolute blithering idiot. Intelligence is a wide term. You can have very smart people do very dumb things and still be very proficient in what they are good at. So, yeah, Eggman is absolutely a threat. He's conquered planets. He's played with space-time. You look at what he's done in the games alone, and he is staggering compared to a lot of the other contemporary mascot villains. Eggman is serious business, but it's exactly as you say. He's undone by his own hubris and his own obsessions. That's part of what Dr. Starline came to realize in his own personal arc, is that while Eggman is incredibly powerful in his own right, he's undone by his shortcomings.
Yeah, he always has a very like he's focuses too much on Sonic, probably for his own good. So yeah, it makes him sense.
He forces as a benchmark. He took Sonic out first thing, and within 6 months he had the planet under control.
Right. Yep. So just kind of, I don't know. He just he's too overconfident in his abilities to defeat Sonic. So, but sometimes it works. Sometimes he does it, like in Forces. So, but then when you take over the world, what do you do after? It's the Pinky and the Brain conundrum. The brain actually takes over the world. He's like, well, what do I do now? Or it's like Megamind. Yeah, if you've seen Megamind. It's a great movie, by the way.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yes. It's delightful. But, it takes over the world, and then what do I do now? All right. Time to tell us a little bit about the Bumble Comic Shop. Ian, go for it.
Head over to BumbleKing.com and look under the Shops tab for the Bumble Comics store. I have a whole selection of comics that I've written, ranging from Sonic to Star Wars to My Little Pony meets Transformers. All purchases are signed and all books are at convention prices, so you can find very limited run covers for the same price as your regular ones. Head on over to BumbleKing.com, look under the Shops tab, and shop to your heart's content.
Awesome. Go get you some comics. All right, let's continue on and jump into the standard Q&A. First one comes to us courtesy of Breezy. So, the Soul Emeralds can restore people's memories, huh? What's the deal with that? Also, what do you think the Soul Emeralds preside over in general? In the same vein that the Chaos Emeralds manipulate abstract space and such. So you could say, what's the deal with the Soul Emeralds? Yeah, Ian, what is the deal with the Soul Emeralds?
We live in a society. Sega was very clear that the Soul Emeralds could not restore Sonic's memory. It's just that seeing Burning Blaze triggered Sonic's memory of his super state. That's what got everything back to normal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. As for what they do, I have no idea. Like, the Soul Emeralds, their relation to Blaze, the Soul Dimension, all of that, I think, is a muddled mess, and I have my theories, but I'm going to stay far away from it until I can get official say one way or the other. They're somehow linked to the Chaos Emeralds, since they appear to be able to communicate to each other. They have a degree of space-time warping themselves, since that's what Blaze uses to get to Sonic's dimension. Clearly they have fiery power. That's where Blaze gets her powers from, maybe, depending on where you're looking. But we'll just kind of wait and see when Sega puts a definitive answer on that.
I feel like pretty much everything related to Blaze's world, potentially including Blaze herself, is criminally underdeveloped as far as plot, story ideas, and everything for it goes. It's like we have this whole world, this whole alternate dimension that could be mined for all sorts of fun stuff, and then they're like, nah, never mind.
One interesting distinction I got when we were designing the Imperial Palace was a note came in saying specifically that Blaze's world is not as technologically advanced as Sonic's world, which I thought was interesting.
And I guess that is interesting, but not really ever applied.
I will take what crumbs I have. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Next question comes from Dove. Ian, prominent female villain in the future of Sonic comics? Maybe, please.
#knowing smile.
Bum, bum, bum. Next question comes from Steph Cube. When you are writing a script for a story arc of the comic, do you already know how it's going to end?
Yes. I usually try to have the beginning, middle, and end already figured out. Have the whole course set and go from there. Get into each one with a plan. At the same time, if things change along the way, adjustments may have to be made. But I don't go into any story arc blind. If I'm going to write something, I want to know where I'm going so that there is an actual point. I'm not just meandering and trying to figure it out as I go along.
Have you ever had a story arc end up changing the end by the time you get to it? That you can remember?
Not immediately off the top of my head. Adjustments, sure. But I can't particularly think of a story where I had, this definitively in mind and we had to change it wholesale.
Well, at least not. I'm just thinking on your own, not like a licensor thing, like where they're like, no, you need to change the whole thing.
Oh, well.
I mean, but there's plenty of those, but I'm just thinking of like yourself, like you start writing it and then you kind of realize, oh, this direction is not really what I actually had in mind, and then you change it, but I don't know.
I mean, when I plotted out Dragoon, I knew basically where it was going to end, and that ending has been so thoroughly and heavily revised as things have gone on.
Oh, sure.
For me, not with that specifically. The endings are usually pretty solid. It's the beginnings that get the most tweaking, because getting to the resolution is easy enough. It's getting it going that's the hard part. Like I've said multiple times that book one was written completely, at least twice, and then completely thrown out because it wasn't right. And I'm kind of going through something similar with book two, where I had a very quick cold open, and it's like, wait, no, that doesn't work anymore because of X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to do this. Oh, wait, no, I need to address this, don't I? Well, that needs more pages, which means I need to repaste it like this. And oh, screw it, we're just going to rewrite the whole blasted thing. I think most of it's going to stay intact, at least. I just need to rewrite the first 30-something pages.
Oh, sure, that's nothing. 30 pages. Yeah, it's fine. Next up, we got a question from Mindernex. It's been a while since we've heard anything about Styx, and if she'll ever appear in the current comics or not. So much of us love her, and I hope Sega hasn't scrapped the character completely. If they haven't, will you ever pitch her again?
No, sure. Styx is fun. I want to see more Styx in the mix.
Same. Give me the Styx. Give me the Styx. Please. Please. She's the best part of Boom. Please. We need more Styx. She needs to be a integral part of the franchise. Dang it. Dang it. Goat on the Road has a question. No, wait, hold on. Let me say that correctly. Goat on the Road has a question. Following on from Jules' love of wings, doesn't Sonic eat chili dogs? What is the meat of those made of?
Yeah, we've covered this a few times. It's never specified what meat products are made of in Sonic's world. Are they plant-based? Are they made out of ground pickies? I don't know.
They're made out of delicious. Maybe it just materializes out of nothing. Maybe it's chaos energy.
Go down this path, you grab a bunch of rings. Go down that path, grab a bunch of chili dogs that just manifest.
Maybe the chili dogs are what gives Sonic his speed. We ever thought about that?
Kyle, are you saying chili dogs give Sonic his runs?
Yes, they do. How do you think he goes so fast? He's got gas everywhere. He's bursting him forward, It makes sense.
BumbleKast, highbrow humor, everybody.
Hey, yeah. If you're here for highbrow humor, I got some bad news. There's like nearly 150 episodes of not highbrow humor that you can listen to, and you should know that by now. You should know that by now, unless you're like totally new. In which case, welcome. You now know what this show's all about. Sonic's got the farts. Dark Game 9L is here with a question. Ian and I have one question. The Freedom Fighters are classic Sonic Timeline exclusive. The only game they show up in is Sonic Spinball, and the TV show Sonic Satan, and the two use classic Sonic design. I assume instead of Sonic Satan, they mean Sonic Sat AM, but I don't know. Was there a cartoon named Sonic Satan? Did I miss that?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they mean Sonic.
No Beazel Hog.
Sat AM, but I don't know. It's funny. It's funny it says Satan. Anyway.
And it just, I don't know. I mean, that can make sense, but it all depends on if and when Sega allows them out of the vault, how they will want them used or represented.
Yeah. I don't know if Sonic Spinball is canon to anything.
No, it is.
It should be. I love Spinball. Is it a good game? It's okay. I still love it, though. I'm just a weirdo, though. So, I get it. And finally, we have a question from Acquainted Sonic Fan. I just wanted to ask a question regarding characters who are labeled as off-limits. Does them being off-limits in the comics prohibit them from being in any other form of media, such as mobile games like Speed Battle and merchandise?
I don't know. That's up to Sega. I'm not part of any other media branch. I think it would be silly if something was verboten from the comics but is used elsewhere, but it's their brand. They'll figure out what they want to use their stuff with.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. I am just a freelance writer.
I think the examples they mentioned, or somebody mentioned, was like Infinite and Mephiles getting merchandise, but they can't be used anywhere else or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Merchandise is different, though, because you don't need to work it in any way. You just make it and then sell it, and then there you go.
Yeah, but if they think a character is marketable in that regard, you think, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know the thought process behind that. It could just be that it's different divisions of the company just making different decisions. So, I don't know. It's confusing. But what's not confusing is that this is the end, and that was the final question.
I'm going to wrap up the show with a big thank you to everyone who makes this show possible. Thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Robotnik Holmes, Mike B., Justin G., Torchbound, Coupland Crew 128, Din, Diane W., Scruffymatt, Chris A., Andrew D., John M., Don B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle, Silly String, Takaro, Sony, Salute Your Cat, Dave M., Justin S., Blue Title Gamer, Idvade Turbo Tunis, Overthinking Films, Tick Tick, Final Neil, Papadropopoulos, Off, Noni, Degama F. Wow, Jonathan D., PC the Unicorn, Rachel W., Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Preston N., Piggybank, Daniel B., J. Frost, Blue Mickey Mouse, Bradley T.T., Jonathan L., Owen B.D., Dadler the Dalek, Somewhat Gooey, Jib, Sapphire Scarletta, Turbo, Dove, and Professor Rye. Also thank you to Madeline M. and Scurvy Pirate Hog from Kofi.
Nice. Welcome aboard, Professor Rye. He's a staple of the Twitch chat on Sundays on BumbleKast Gaming. So, but now he's a patron, so welcome. And welcome to everyone else who's also joined as well. And thank you. And thank you to everybody who's been a longtime supporter or recent supporter, whatever, or who supported originally but no longer does. That's cool too. I mean, you supported us at one point. I assume you still support us by listening to the show, I hope. It's all good. Thanks to everybody who's ever supported us. Where can people find you on the internet, Ian?
You can find me on Twitter at IanFlynnBKC, my personal website, BumbleKing.com, home of the Bumble Comic Shop and other things, and my personal web series, Drogoon, that's DROGUNE.com. Kyle, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at KyleJCRB. You can also head on over to KNGI.org. You can find archived episodes of the BumbleKast there in MP3 downloadable format for your listening pleasure. Or you can also check out my other show, Nitro Game Injection, a video game music radio show, which you can listen to streaming live on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time over there as well. Or you can download all the archives of that show and listen to them to your heart's content and all that good stuff. So you'll find the podcast links for BumbleKast and all the other shows over there as well. So check that out.
Follow the show on Twitter at BumbleKast, email us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com, and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, our YouTube channel, and KNGI.org.
Don't forget to also check out the Bumble store, shop.spreadshirt.com/Bumble store. Get you Bumble items. You can find all sorts of things over there adorned with our logo or with our silly smiling cartoon faces or with all sorts of other stuff. Hashtag Knowing Smile merch is over there, so you know what to do. Know what to do.
And catch BumbleKast Gaming live streaming on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/BumbleKast Gaming every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Every now and again, we are able to do it throughout the week, so follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, and find out when we're going to be streaming.
Nice. Go check it out and hang out with us on Sundays. It's fun. It's a good time. Maybe. Depends on the game we're playing.
That's going to wrap us up for this episode of the BumbleKast. Maybe next week I'll be a little more awake and we'll have slightly more energy.
Oh, bold of you to assume that. Bold of you to assume that we aren't just tired of everything.
Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
How are my levels coming through? Am I okay?
Yeah, you're fine. You just sound tired. To be fair, I'm also tired, so it works. It's fine. It's fine. No big deal. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
I think overall I did enjoy Death Stranding more, which is a weird thing to say. Like, the core gameplay of Spider-Man is more enjoyable, the swinging and whatnot, and the tension and the slog in Death Stranding are not something that I want to do again. Like, neither game is something I foresee myself picking up anytime soon. But with Death Stranding, the satisfaction of building the road or getting over the terrain or having a good route and doing a good delivery, setting up the slingshot network, that had a lasting appeal. Spider-Man is all kind of one big blur to me. Like, the early game when you're swinging around the city doing odd jobs, that's kind of fun. Doing the story stuff was not as much fun. So yeah, God, that's weird to say.
No, I get it.